right. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to, I think we're still called the Teachers Lounge podcast.
Oh, yeah.
We're just not live.
But yeah, we're just not live.
We're not live. So if somebody does something,
I appreciate the
crazy.
fist bump, by the way.
Yeah, the studio audience is not here.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? We're not going to be like Charlie Sheen on 2.5 Men swinging the sword above. We can cut that out if one of us snaps.
Facts.
But I think we should still go around and introduce ourselves, especially since we have a guest.
Okay.
Like the 12-step program.
Exactly.
My name's Matt.
Well, you start.
Yeah.
You start.
Okay. My name is Chris. I'm a 7th grade math teacher. I also do stand-up.
My name is Matt. I am a 6th, 7th, and 8th grade drama teacher, and I also do stand-up and act.
My name is Kip, and I'm, I guess, the guest that they're talking about.
Are the guest? Yeah. Let's give him a clap.
Even though it feels like I'm the fourth guy, I'm like the lock character in the video game. Sometimes you just allow me, I'm here.
Dude, I got a deep cut for you, but we got to...
So, hold on. My name is Kip. I teach 8th grade English at the same school that my boy Chris teaches at.
Yeah,
That's
awesome.
what's up. That's what's up. What's up? I'm Zoe Johnson, and I do after school programs, and I run also SEL programs for kids. So
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up.
And, I'm also a stripper. No, I'm just kidding.
Atta boy.
Yeah, you know what I
I'm
mean?
a comedian and also an actor. Okay,
I got to watch my jokes.
No, you're totally fine.
No.
So, Kip, I want to ask you right off the
Yes,
bat.
sir.
You ready? Hey, we're now into break, right? How you feeling? Do you really need it this year? Or is it something that you go, hey, I'm just kind of coasting in?
Break is the best break.
Really?
Yeah.
I also want to ask you
This break is
something.
the best break.
I was not on the last podcast, but you said something. You said that you were planning on leaving teaching in a few years.
Absolutely.
Does that still stand to kind of piggyback off?
Oh,
this thing?
no. Well, first of all, it doesn't really have my like maturation out of the classroom has nothing to do with the actual job, because I feel like I can teach forever, right? It's more about the idea that we're just hamsters on a wheel and they're never going to pay us to be financially independent, and our salaries are like a bargaining chip for you to throw away your dreams. Like if there's something else that you want to do with your life, right? Like we're not going to get the time back. Like I always think about teachers when they retire, right? They spent so much of their time in that classroom, and then what do they have left? And I love my classroom and I love my kids, but
one more thing.
Did you ever see that movie with Justin Timberlake to where he has a watch that he has to like borrow time from?
That's okay.
That's a deep cut.
So realistically, we used a movie with Justin Timberlake. I was like,
have you seen Alpha Dog?
Alpha Dog was actually pretty good.
I never saw it.
But damn it, I have seen.
He's a great actor, actually.
I've seen 2 Justin Timberlake movies.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
He's not a bad actor, but so that still stands.
The idea that the time is ticking down, right, and you don't get it back, you cannot redeem it, is something that's really important to me. And as teachers, we're senders. Right? We send these students off to go do great things. And sometimes, not to say that what we're doing in our classrooms and what we're doing in our programs are not great, but sometimes if I feel like a hypocrite, if I tell this child to go be great and I'm settling.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You can be anything you want to be.
You can be anything you want to be, but I'm going to sit right here in this classroom.
I'm going to sit right here and tell you to sit down.
Right.
Because you got other skills than teaching, so you might as well work it out.
Yeah,
you should see, actually, guys, speaking of that, one of the things that I've walked by and seen students actually in the classroom at lunch, he actually is showing them beats and working on music.
I remember you told me that.
So, bro, once upon a time,
dude, you're like the Dr. Dre of
I know.
Exactly.
You're the one that they make the movies about.
Yeah, I was trying to get a building named after me when I first
MWA, Middle Schools with Allergies.
No, like you've seen Lean On Me.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yeah,
Mr. Joe Clark.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
I like how you only looked at him. I've only seen it like 10 times.
But it's a connection. It's a connection. You understand?
I'm sorry for
last time you commented how
it's a connection.
Hey, you guys, that was like the melanated side of the conversation.
The room is segregated again.
Walk with me, man. Walk with me.
The white guys, and look, we're both kidding you. We're both like this.
Hilarious.
Well, I saw that too.
We're both like 60 Minutes hosts. Chris and I.
But the goal, the goal originally was to be someone that, inspires some type of change, right? Now, 21 years into this career with the light so brightly at the end of the tunnel, I just don't want to be that teacher that has nothing left to give to myself when it's all said and done.
Boom. And I've been thinking lately about how hard teaching is on the body. Like we were just talking about LeBron James. I'm like, LeBron James is still playing it. Is he 43 or 42?
He's in his early 40s.
Okay, so let's say he's 43. Would his body still hold up on the court if he was a middle school teacher? Or would he be like throwing it, going over the backboard?
So the funniest thing about teaching being hard on the body is I actually kind of disagree. I think that it's because the job is not labor intensive. So this is not like, your grandfather that swung a hammer for 50 years. Absolutely. And then when he's got, that grown man strength is a real thing. Teaching is one of those jobs that you can actually be very passive, and then you get kind of soft and weak. Like if you don't do a push-up and all you do is sit in your classroom, you're going to end up with all kinds of health problems because we're not necessarily designed to be in that damn fishbowl for 6 hours walking around.
And
that's what I mean. It psychologically can.
No, that's what I mean is on top of it. So what ends up happening, you don't even realize you got to protect yourself against it, is, you're stressed out. So what do? You go down to the break room. They're like, we have donuts today.
Yeah,
and instead of having one,
100%.
you have two.
You have two.
You go back up like when they did the buffet thing today.
Absolutely.
If you want longevity,
second and third.
You want longevity.
You got to be low carb.
Absolutely. You
got to be low carb or else you're gonna,
But once upon a time, I owned a recording studio and I worked at different record labels. I made the choice to not be a broke artist. Man, thank you.
Producer.
Censor. I'm censoring myself. Yeah. But I made the choice not to be. Plus, I grew up in a classroom. My mom was a Broadway actress, right? Like I grew up running around behind, backstage. So, but I'm not an actor. But performing was one of the things that I was used to.
And you have that natural charisma
that
a lot of entertainers have.
Yeah. Well,
so it's like that is something that can't really be taught in school. That's just something you either have or don't have.
Well, the point is when Chris asked about music. Like I always have a keyboard somewhere. And if there's a student that is even like moderately interested, I'm like, sweet.
I got you.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about, where to place a comma for 30 minutes.
Do you ever sing it and be like, commas go right after?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Do you ever do like School of Rock?
I am not gonna lie to you.
I think I did a dope class.
The first, like I've been teaching for such a long time. There were different learning modalities that they were introducing, and some of these things have phased out of style, right? But one of the things that we were doing 15 years ago were connecting important concepts to rhythm. Right, it's the reason why our kids know those songs so well, but they don't know their math problems. But if you add a beat to it and you do it repetitiously, they will. It's like a child will learn the rhythm of the ABCs. If you ask a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old to do the ABCs, absolutely. A, B, C, D, Q, R, S, they're gonna mess it up, right? Yeah. But they know the rhythm, and over time they will learn the words to it. So I was making a bunch of beats with my students in the beginning, and it was cool. It was cool. I mean, I guess I kind of grew out of it, but. Simple sentences, complex sentences, compound sentences. I have little rhyme schemes, and everybody laughs, and it was cool.
Would you say too that actually, them actually not only seeing you make music, but then hearing the stuff that you do, that it has to change also the relationship with the kids and how they even view you?
Chris, that's a great point, man. Because and I'm pretty sure Zoe could speak to this because I'm an old guy now. Right. But I've been teaching for 21 years. And so what happens is sometimes the students will see me as a stereotype. Right. They'll consume some media from the internet. And because I look like that guy,
they want to ask you a question.
There's an expectation that I'm going to act. And I was like, no, I have a master's degree. Well, I also ride motorcycles. And I also, can play a little bit of piano. But I also have read a ton of Shakespeare. Like, it is possible to be more well-rounded. And that's one of the problems that we have on our campuses with our Black students, specifically in Los Angeles, because they're a minority inside of a minority.
Dude,
absolutely. So say that. So when people say that, they have to understand the context. In Los Angeles, the majority of schools, on average,
in Los Angeles, period, there aren't really any Black people.
That's the question. But then it's not a lot of Black kids in your school.
Yeah. No, there might be concentrations in certain campuses, but those concentrations are like historic concentrations. It's where the redlining happened in the 1920s and 1930s when they wouldn't give people loans and allow them to move out of these neighborhoods. Yeah. So those neighborhoods are traditionally Black, but from the 80s to the 90s, Black folks have been leaving. They've been moving out to places like Moreno Valley. They've been moving out and people forget that there was a civil war in El Salvador. We have a lot of El Salvadorian kids that are like first and second and third generation now. And these areas that were traditionally black are now no longer black. They're just
Dude, Chris and I were talking too about something. It was like, so I grew up in Southern Illinois, and people think Illinois, they think of Chicago, but this is like cornfields and Cracker Barrel. You know what I mean? Where I grew up. And it's the traditional... Zoe's very familiar with it because he went to college down there. It's the traditional redneck to people, you know,
right.
You know what I mean? Like it's, and I love it.
Right.
And this doesn't mean that people weren't saying it, but I heard very little racist talk down there in school. I heard some, but little.
Right.
Became a teacher in Los Angeles, primarily a Hispanic school.
Right.
Heard more racist stuff. In 1 year.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard
I got
school.
You must live in it. But when I lived with the school down there, it was very racist outside the school. It's like a small town. You might have experienced it. I felt it outside of school how racist it was, but you might not.
Yeah, of course. And I'm not saying I'm the authority on like who. I'm just saying I didn't hear it.
Right.
Yeah.
And here I hear it all the time to where people will say that, and I might have like, let's say like one black kid in the class or something like that. And it's like, it's a problem. People saying racist crap like out loud, like flagrantly.
So think of like a group chat with the fellas, right?
100%.
There's a lot of like transparency that happens in those group chat with the fellas that like if someone was able to get a transcript of that, we would all have to answer for it. Like if I die and then God is rolling the group chat and looking at some of the things we were talking about on a projector.
What was this
in
about?
A courtroom? Courtroom?
We gonna be scared.
So, Mr. Dunn,
you got the blood of Jesus on you.
You're cooked, right? And I think what happens when you have dominant groups, they can become comfortable because they're not held accountable. There's no accountability. And this is, we see this all the time because you said I have one black kid in my classroom, right? That's usually about the average, maybe one, maybe two at the max.
Yeah, it'll be like,
if we're talking about scattered, because black people are only 5% of the population in California. That's 5%. That means that we're in concentrated areas. We're not in East LA, right? And Los Angeles or Southern California has the illusion of being a melting pot. Like even the concept of melting pot means that we're all sharing and it's all melted together. No, this place is segregated, right?
Like it's like Chicago is.
Yeah, it's really segregated because people are tribal and they're going to like go where they feel more comfortable, go where they feel they're not criticized for using their mother tongue, go where they're not meant to feel other than because they're individuals that look like them that are catering to them and providing services. So that's what happens here, right? So,
yeah, here in Chicago, there's all these little segregated neighborhoods. Like you have the Greek town where like they're just eating spanakopita over there, you know. And you have like
Jewtown, Jewtown too.
Yeah.
So I got a question then.
Chicago.
So how have you seen? So to go back to that whole thing of Black students are a minority within a minority, right? And how have you seen in your 21 years of being a teacher, how have you seen that dynamic play out in ways that either have been good or have upset you?
Well, upset me from the fact that it's not viewed as an issue from top down. Right, our administration have kind of become like nose blind, so to speak. Right, like if the room smells like roses, sooner or later it doesn't smell like roses to you anymore. You're just inside of the room. So there'll be the term is microaggressions. There will be all these little microaggressions, and because the administration doesn't view it as an issue, it doesn't become something until something actually happens. Right, because in the high schools, on the high school levels in South LA, it's pretty much every other summer, and like people that grew up in LA will understand that there will be a racial divide. There are like little mini race wars in these high schools.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
It's like prison, dude. It's
that's
like
exactly, but that's where it starts. It starts in prison, and then it spills to the neighborhood, and then it ends up in the high school. And administration doesn't do very much to talk about what we have in common, because the truth is we're all Los Angelinos. That's the truth. We're all Los Angelinos, and to say that we're all wearing the same jersey is a very powerful statement, because it kind of demystifies the idea that we're different.
Yeah, and do you think because in some of these areas, do you think people feel like they kind of almost have to join like a race, like because it's like they
I think
so much pressure.
I think in 2025, some of these biases are are not even conscious. Some of these biases are subconscious. These are things that are passed down from their parents, right? Because our kids are not, so like the school that we work at is over 100 years old, and it was a white only school, right? That school was segregated. Well, all schools were segregated in California.
But that was like one where it was like.
Absolutely. Our school, like you can pull a yearbook from 1930. Right,
and it's just all dudes with their hair parted on the side.
Not only was it whites only schools, it was also segregated by gender. Right, our school has the boys' school is on top, but there was the girls' school, which is actually under the main building.
There literally is this is going to sound
other campus.
A whole other campus. That's something out of a movie.
Yeah, and it's so wild that the
girls go like, hey, I'm the boys go right there.
Now or the past?
No, in the past.
In the past, like. There are hallways and classrooms and bathrooms that are specifically for girls. And it's like, this place is a dungeon. But the boys had all the sunlight and all the other cool stuff.
Yeah, so the girls, they're just like...
Oh my God. It really is like not even a glass ceiling at that point. It was a real ceiling.
It was a real ceiling. So what we're talking about here is the idea that you've been giving something, or the idea of assimilation means that you've made it, right? Now that we have these kids who would not have been allowed to come to our school, right? But now that they're the ethnic majority, they can kind of ignore the responsibility of why their parents actually came to this country. Or even if we're not even talking about people that immigrate, is that you're poor, right?
Yeah.
Our students are poor as hell. They just don't realize it. They don't internalize it.
So it's like, does it really have the same effect if you don't realize it?
No, absolutely not.
Because everybody's the same.
Dude,
he's not gonna notice.
I was talking about that in therapy one time. I was like, I work at a Title I school. He's like, doesn't that mean they're mostly below the poverty line? I was like, yeah, but so am I.
Yeah. So here's
couch cushions.
What are you trying to say?
No, that's a very, very interesting point, right? I had a teacher years ago that said the worst thing that happened in Black education was integration. And he said, well...
Wait, he was a Black teacher?
Yeah, absolutely. He said
I've heard a lot of people.
I like Matt. He was a Black teacher.
Yeah, the worst thing to happen is integrating. I hate it.
What was it? Segregation today? Segregation tomorrow?
The good old days!
No, it was the idea of like either consciously or subconsciously that as soon as we were allowed to do something, that we made it, that we've arrived. It's like as soon as we were allowed to integrate, that we were no longer second-class citizens. And that's not the truth. That is absolutely not the truth, because even when we're talking about the 1940s, that's 80 years ago, right? We're not talking about 80 years ago, right? That's not even, hundreds of years ago. So like Chris and I were talking about the effects of race on students and test scores, because what ends up happens, what proliferates, is that people start believing that there's some kind of genetic predisposition to high test scores.
There's a lot of people, dude, there's podcasters out there that like are running their podcast on this kind of stuff.
It's absolutely nuts, right? Because when you look at the numbers, a lot of Asian immigrants, like specifically Chinese kids, come here and they demolish everybody in the
demolish everybody. Yes. They take white students that grew up here and just destroy them.
Because Chris, you made a mention to it in class. It was like, what were the numbers? It was like
so I used ChatGPT or one of those, right? Mm-hmm. And I said, so the PISA scores, the PISA scores, are the international scores. That's the closest thing that we can do to actually compare. Mm-hmm. So I said to it,